Get ready to challenge what you thought you knew. Don't miss an episode of The Truth Within the Bible. Your journey to enlightenment starts now.
Welcome back, my friends. Today we are going to continue in Genesis with chapter 32. Please first give you a quick recap of chapter 30 and 31. In chapter 30, Jacob, serving Laban, fathers children with his wives Leah and Rachel, and their maids Zilpah and Bilhah, due to rivalry between the sisters. Leah bears Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. Rachel, barren at first, gives Bilhah to Jacob, who bears Dan and Naphtali. Leah then gives Zilpah, who bears Gad and Asher. Leah later bears Issachar, Zebulun, and Dinah. God opens Rachel's womb, and she bears Joseph. Jacob negotiates with Laban to leave with his family and flocks, using selective breeding to grow his wealth with spotted and speckled livestock. Laban agrees, but tensions rise as Jacob prospers. In chapter 31, Jacob, sensing Laban's growing hostility and God's call to return to Canaan, flees with his wives, children, and livestock. Rachel secretly takes Laban's household idols. Laban pursues them, catching up after 7 days, and accuses Jacob of theft. Jacob, unaware of Rachel's actions, allows a search. Rachel hides the idols and avoids detection. Jacob angrily defends his years of honest service. Laban and Jacob make a covenant of peace, marked by a stone pillar, and Laban departs. Jacob continues toward Canaan with God's angels appearing to him. Now that you are all caught up, let's get to it in chapter 32, verse 1.
And Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him.
Verse 2.
And when Jacob saw them, he said, "This is God's host." And he called the name of that place Mahanaim.
It means two hosts or two camps. Why? The camps of angels and a camp of people. God's angels are always with those that serve him. You don't have anything to worry about? Bring it on. Verse 3.
And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom.
Verse 4.
And he commanded them, saying, Thus shall ye speak unto my lord Esau. Thy servant Jacob saith thus, I have sojourned with Laban, and stayed there until now.
And of course Laban was also Esau's uncle, but he sends this word, and Jacob wasn't Esau's servant. Verse 5.
And I have oxen and asses, flocks and men servants and women servants, and I have sent to tell my lord that I may find grace in thy sight.
Verse 6.
And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, We came to thy brother Esau, and also he cometh to meet thee, and 400 men with him.
This could be scary. On the one hand, it is the size of a small army, but on the other hand, maybe Esau loved his brother after all these years. Remember, Esau's last words were that he was going to kill Jacob. Let's see what happens. Verse 7.
Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him, and the flocks and herds and the camels, into 2 bands.
Verse 8.
And said, If Esau come to the one company, and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape.
Contingency plan, if you will. Verse 9.
And Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, the Lord which saidst unto me, Return unto thy country and to thy kindred, and I will deal well with thee.
He turned to God, because God has promised him, I'm with you. And you know, our opening verse was that the angels of God met him. He doesn't really have anything to worry about, but he still brings God into the equation. You should too, when you have a problem. Verse 10.
I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies, and of all the truth which thou hast showed unto thy servant. For with my staff I passed over this Jordan, and now I am become 2 bands.
Verse 11.
Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he will come and smite me, and the mother with the children.
Verse 12.
And thou saidst, I will surely do thee good, and make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude.
He knows these little children are supposed to multiply like the sands of the sea, asking God to be with him and reminding him of his promise as well. Verse 13.
And he lodged there that same night, and took of that which came to his hand a present for Esau, his brother.
He's going to butter him up a little bit. Verse 14.
200 she-goats, and 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams.
Verse 15.
30 milch camels with their colts, 40 kine, and 10 bulls, 20 she-asses, and 10 foals.
Verse 16.
And he delivered them into the hand of his servants, every drove by themselves, and said unto his servants, Pass over before me, and put a space betwixt drove and drove.
Verse 17.
And he commanded the foremost, saying, When Esau my brother meeteth thee, and asketh thee, saying, Whose art thou, and whither goest thou, and whose are these before thee?
He is asking, how are you going to answer? Verse 18.
Then thou shalt say, They be thy servant Jacob's. It is a present sent unto my lord Esau. And behold, also he is behind us.
He's coming right on along. Verse 19.
And so commanded he the second and the third, and all that followed the droves, saying, On this manner shall ye speak unto Esau when ye find him.
Verse 20.
And say ye moreover, Behold, thy servant Jacob is behind us. For he said, I will appease him with the present that goeth before me, and afterward I will see his face. Peradventure he will accept of me.
Verse 21.
So went the present over before him, and himself lodged that night in the company.
Verse 22.
And he rose up that night, and took his 2 wives, and his 2 women servants, and his 11 sons, and passed over the ford Jabbok.
Jabbok means the emptying. Why? It would empty into the Jordan where much took place. Verse 23.
And he took them, and sent them over the brook, and sent over that he had.
Verse 24.
And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day.
He's wrestling with the angel of the Lord, and he doesn't quit. He wrestles all night long. This is why he gets his name heel grabber or contender, because he is a contender. Up to this point, he's contended with Laban and won. He's contended with Esau, and he won. And he persists all night wrestling with the angel of the Lord. Verse 25.
And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him.
So, the angel was impressed. Jacob just wouldn't quit, despite his getting injured. Verse 26.
And he said, Let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me.
Hanging in there for a blessing. So he knows who he's wrestling with. Else he would not be asking for a blessing. Verse 27.
And he said unto him, What is thy name? And he said, Jacob.
Verse 28.
And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed.
Verse 29.
And Jacob asked him, and said, Tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, Wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name? And he blessed him there.
Well, he didn't win, but he received the blessing. Verse 30.
And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved.
Peniel means the face of El, the face of God. This encounter represents Jacob's struggle with his past, his fears, and his faith. It's both literal and spiritual, illustrating perseverance, divine testing, and God's grace in meeting Jacob personally. Verse 31.
And as he passed over Penuel, the sun rose upon him, and he halted upon his thigh.
He could hardly walk. But there he had wrestled with God all night long. Verse 32 to finish the chapter.
Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh, unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew that shrank.
The limp he carries afterward marks the cost and permanence of this transformative moment. This is the father that will bring forth the 12 tribes of the house of Israel, and his named changed from Jacob to Israel. Let's continue on with chapter 33, verse 1.
And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men. And he divided the children unto Leah, and unto Rachel, and unto the 2 handmaids.
Verse 2.
And he put the handmaids and their children foremost, and Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph hindermost.
Verse 3.
And he passed over before them, and bowed himself to the ground 7 times, until he came near to his brother.
Verse 4.
And Esau ran to meet him, and embraced him, and fell on his neck, and kissed him, and they wept.
Obviously, Esau forgave him. Verse 5.
And he lifted up his eyes, and saw the women and the children, and said, Who are those with thee? And he said, The children which God hath graciously given thy servant.
Verse 6.
Then the handmaidens came near, they and their children, and they bowed themselves.
Verse 7.
And Leah also with her children came near, and bowed themselves. And after came Joseph near, and Rachel, and they bowed themselves.
Paying respect. Verse 8.
And he said, What meanest thou by all this drove which I met? And he said, These are to find grace in the sight of my Lord.
Verse 9.
And Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep that thou hast unto thyself.
Verse 10.
And Jacob said, Nay, I pray thee, if now I have found grace in thy sight, then receive my present at my hand, for therefore I have seen thy face, as though I had seen the face of God, and thou wast pleased with me.
In this time, if you were offered a gift and didn't take it, that was a pretty high insult. Verse 11.
Take, I pray thee, my blessing that is brought to thee, because God hath dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough. And he urged him, and he took it.
Verse 12.
And he said, Let us take our journey, and let us go, and I will go before thee.
Verse 13.
And he said unto him, My Lord knoweth that the children are tender, and the flocks and herds with young are with me. And if men should overdrive them one day, all the flock will die.
Verse 14.
Let my Lord, I pray thee, pass over before his servant, and I will lead on softly, according as the cattle that goeth before me, and the children be able to endure, until I come unto my Lord unto Seir.
Seir, meaning hairy, shaggy place. Verse 15.
And Esau said, Let me now leave with thee some of the folk that are with me. And he said, What needeth it? Let me find grace in the sight of my Lord.
Verse 16.
So Esau returned that day on his way unto Seir.
Verse 17.
And Jacob journeyed to Succoth, and built him an house, and made booths for his cattle. Therefore the name of the place is called Succoth.
Succoth means booths. He built him a house and made booths for his cattle. Verse 18.
And Jacob came to Shalem, a city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, when he came from Paddan Aram, and pitched his tent before the city.
Shechem, which that means the back, like the backbone, which is in the land of Canaan. He made that long trip from Laban's all the way across, and now he is situated in the land of Canaan. Verse 19.
And he bought a parcel of a field where he had spread his tent at the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money.
Verse 20 to finish the chapter.
And he erected there an altar, and called it El Elohe Israel,
meaning the God of Israel. Let's squeeze one more chapter in today, continuing to chapter 34, verse 1.
And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land.
Verse 2.
And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her, and lay with her, and defiled her.
He raped her. Verse 3.
And his soul clave unto Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the damsel, and spake kindly unto the damsel.
He fell in love with her. But that's a terrible way to introduce yourself. Verse 4.
And Shechem spake unto his father Hamor, saying, Get me this damsel to wife.
Verse 5.
And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they were come.
Verse 6.
And Hamor the father of Shechem went out unto Jacob to commune with him.
Verse 7.
And the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it. And the men were grieved, and they were very wroth, because he had wrought folly in Israel in lying with Jacob's daughter, which thing ought not to be done.
Verse 8.
And Hamor communed with them, saying, The soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter. I pray you give her him to wife.
Verse 9.
And make ye marriages with us, and give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you.
That would be an extreme no-no, because this is the family that Christ is going to come through. Verse 10.
And ye shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade ye therein, and get you possessions therein.
Verse 11.
And Shechem said unto her father and unto her brethren, Let me find grace in your eyes, and what ye shall say unto me I will give.
Verse 12.
Ask me never so much dowry and gift, and I will give according as ye shall say unto me, but give me the damsel to wife.
Verse 13.
And the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father deceitfully, and said, because he had defiled Dinah their sister.
Verse 14.
And they said unto them, We cannot do this thing, to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised, for that were a reproach unto us.
Verse 15.
But in this will we consent unto you, if you will be as we be, that every male of you be circumcised.
Verse 16.
Then will we give our daughters unto you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people.
Talk about deceitful. It says deceitful because they were up to something. Making the men circumcised obviously would not justify them raping their sister. But they were crafty in their plan, and obviously because Hamor and Shechem were greedy and wanted not only the women, but also their vast riches, they agreed. Verse 17.
But if ye will not hearken unto us to be circumcised, then will we take our daughter, and we will be gone.
Verse 18.
And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem Hamor's son.
Verse 19.
And the young man deferred not to do the thing, because he had delight in Jacob's daughter, and he was more honorable than all the house of his father.
Verse 20.
And Hamor and Shechem his son came unto the gate of their city, and communed with the men of their city, saying,
Verse 21.
These men are peaceable with us, therefore let them dwell in the land and trade therein. For the land, behold, it is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us for wives, and let us give them our daughters.
Verse 22.
Only herein will the men consent unto us for to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us be circumcised, as they are circumcised.
Verse 23.
Shall not their cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs be ours? Only let us consent unto them, and they will dwell with us.
Looks like there was an ulterior motive here, not about just getting the girls. They wanted all their cattle and possessions too. Verse 24.
And unto Hamor and unto Shechem his son hearkened all that went out of the gate of his city, and every male was circumcised, all that went out of the gate of his city.
Verse 25.
And it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brethren, took each man his sword, and came upon the city boldly, and slew all the males.
Those two brothers, which were full-blood brothers to Dinah, Leah's sons, they took advantage of the incapacitated state of the men and slew them all. Verse 26.
And they slew Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house, and went out.
Quite a revenge for the rape of their sister, but well deserved. Verse 27.
The sons of Jacob came upon the slain, and spoiled the city, because they had defiled their sister.
You should be wise enough to know that when two men, only two, with a sword, not some weapon that is of mass destruction, but a sword, which must be one-on-one, slew an entire city, then you have to know God was with them, or it could not have been done. So God was in this also. Why would God do that? Protecting that seed line. Don't ever forget that. It's extremely important. Why? Because here would come the Savior, the salvation for all. And I'll go one step further. You might say, well, it didn't do Hamor or Shechem any good, did it? Well, possibly, because where did Christ go while he was yet in the tomb? He went where these boys were, in paradise, awaiting judgment, and gave them the opportunity to receive Christ. The very seed they were trying to defile. They had that opportunity to accept him and have eternal salvation. Don't ever accuse our Heavenly Father of being unfair. He thinks of all of his children. Verse 28.
They took their sheep, and their oxen, and their asses, and that which was in the city, and that which was in the field,
Verse 29.
and all their wealth, and all their little ones, and their wives took they captive, and spoiled even all that was in the house.
They took them for slaves, for servants. Verse 30.
And Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, Ye have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites. And I, being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me and slay me, and I shall be destroyed, I and my house.
Verse 31 to finish.
And they said, Should he deal with our sister as with an harlot?
We're not standing for it, in other words. Join us in the next video where we will continue on in chapter 35. Until then, stay strong, my friends.